The Seven Dials Mystery, Chapter 22. The Countess woke up in a different way than Jimmy did. It took her a long time to wake up, and she did it in a very dramatic way. Bundle, a young woman, was helping the Countess wake up by putting cold water on her face. The Countess responded by slowly moving her hand to her forehead and speaking quietly. Just then, a man named Bill came into the room. He had finished calling the doctors. Bundle thought Bill acted like a fool. He leaned over the Countess with a worried face and said many silly things. "It's okay, Countess. Everything is fine. Do not try to speak yet. It is bad for you. Just lie still. You will feel better soon. You'll remember what happened in a minute. Do not say anything until you feel okay. Take your time. Keep your eyes closed. Have some more water. Drink some brandy. That will help." Then Bill asked Bundle, "Don't you think she should have some brandy?" "For goodness sake, Bill, leave her alone," Bundle said angrily. "She will be fine." Bundle was good at helping. She splashed a lot of cold water onto the Countess's beautiful makeup. The Countess jumped and sat up. She looked much more awake now. "Ah," the Countess whispered. "I am here. Yes, I am here." "Take your time," Bill said. "Do not talk until you feel better." The Countess pulled her thin silk robe closer around her body. "I am starting to remember," she whispered. "Yes, it is coming back to me." She looked at the group of people standing around her. Perhaps she felt that some people were not being very kind. She chose to smile at the one person who looked very worried about her, Bill. "Ah, my big Englishman," she said very softly. "Do not worry. I am okay." "Are you sure?" Bill asked anxiously. "I am very sure," she said with a smile, to make him feel better. "In Hungary, we have very strong nerves." Bill felt very relieved. He had a silly, happy look on his face. When Bundle saw that look, she really wanted to kick him. "Drink some water," Bundle said in a cold voice. The Countess said no to the water. Jimmy wanted to be kind to the beautiful woman, so he offered her a cocktail. The Countess liked that idea. After she drank it, she looked around again and seemed much more energetic. "Tell me, what happened?" the Countess asked quickly. "We hoped you could tell us," said Superintendent Battle. The Countess looked at him closely. It seemed like she was noticing the big, quiet man for the first time. "I went to your room," Bundle said. "The bed was empty and you were not there." Bundle looked at the Countess as if she had done something wrong. The Countess closed her eyes and nodded slowly. "Yes, I remember everything now. Oh, it was terrible." She shook with fear. "Do you want me to tell you the story?" Superintendent Battle said yes, please, but Bill said not if you feel too tired. The Countess looked at both of them, but she decided to answer the superintendent because he looked very serious and powerful. "I could not sleep," the Countess began. "The house made me feel nervous and trapped. I was very restless. I knew I could not go to bed yet. I walked around my room. I tried to read, but the books were boring. I decided to go downstairs to find a better book." "That makes sense," said Bill. "People do that often," said Battle. "So I left my room and went downstairs. The house was very quiet." The superintendent stopped her. "Excuse me, but what time was it when this happened?" "I never know what time it is," the Countess said proudly. She did not stop and continued her story. "The house was very still. It was so quiet you could hear a mouse running. I went down the stairs very quietly." "Very quietly?" the superintendent asked. "Of course. I did not want to wake up the house," the Countess said, sounding a little hurt. "I came into this room. I went to the corner to find a good book to read." "Did you turn on the lights?" the superintendent asked. "No," she replied. "I had a small flashlight with me. I used it to look at the books." "I see," said the superintendent. "Suddenly," the Countess said in a dramatic voice, "I heard something, a quiet, sneaky sound, a footstep. I turned off my flashlight and listened. The footsteps came closer. It was a horrible sound. I hid behind the screen. A minute later, the door opened and the lights came on. A burglar was in the room." Jimmy Thesiger tried to speak, but the superintendent stepped on his foot to make him be quiet. Jimmy stopped talking. "I was so scared," the Countess continued. I tried not to breathe. The man waited and listened. Then, with those same scary, quiet steps, Jimmy tried to argue again, but he saw the superintendent's face and stayed quiet. The man walked to the window and looked out. He stayed there for a few minutes. Then he walked back across the room, turned off the lights, and locked the door. I was terrified. He was in the dark room with me, moving around quietly. I was so afraid he would find me. Then I heard him by the window again. After that, it was silent. I hoped he had left through the window. I waited. Finally, I was just about to turn on my flashlight to look around when suddenly the big fight began. "And then what happened?" they asked. "Ah, it was terrible," the Countess cried. "I will never forget it. 2 men were trying to kill each other. It was horrible. They moved wildly around the room, and the furniture crashed everywhere. I also thought I heard a woman scream, but that was outside. The criminal had a very rough, dry voice. He didn't speak clearly. He croaked. He kept saying, 'Let me go, let me go.' The other man sounded like an educated English gentleman." Jimmy felt happy because she called him a gentleman. "He mostly used bad words, swearing," the Countess added. "Definitely a gentleman," Superintendent Battle said jokingly. "And then," the Countess said, "I saw a flash and heard a gunshot. The bullet hit the bookshelf right next to me. I think I fainted after that." She looked at Bill. He took her hand and patted it. "You poor thing," he said. "That is terrible." Bundle watched them and thought, "Bill is such a silly person." Superintendent Battle walked quietly over to the bookshelf. He looked at the floor and picked something up. "It was not a bullet, Countess," he said. "It is an empty metal shell from the gun. Mr. Thesiger, where were you standing when you shot your gun?" Jimmy stood by the window. "I think I was right here." The superintendent stood in the same spot to check. "That is correct," he agreed. "When you fire this kind of gun, the empty shell flies back and to the right. It hit the bookshelf near the Countess. In the dark, she thought it was a real bullet. The real bullet hit the window frame and went outside. We will look for it tomorrow." Jimmy shook his head sadly. "I am afraid my gun, Leopold, did not do a very good job," he said. The Countess looked at him with great interest. "Your arm!" she cried. "It has a bandage on it. Was it you fighting in the dark?" Jimmy gave her a playful bow. "I am happy you liked my English voice," he said. "I am sorry I used bad words. I did not know a lady was in the room listening." "I did not understand all the words," the Countess explained quickly, "even though I had an English teacher when I was a child." "I am sure she did not teach you bad words," Jimmy agreed. "She probably only taught you simple sentences from school books." "But what happened?" the Countess asked. "I really want to know what happened here." Everyone was silent for a moment. They all looked at Superintendent Battle. "It is very simple," Battle said calmly. "Someone tried to steal something. Some important government papers were stolen from Sir Stanley Digby. The thieves almost escaped, but they failed because of this young lady." He pointed to Lorraine. The Countess looked at Lorraine. She did not look happy. She looked at her in a strange, cold way. "Is that so?" the Countess said coldly. "Yes, it was very lucky she was there," Superintendent Battle said with a smile. The Countess sighed and closed her eyes halfway again. "It is silly, but I still feel very weak," the Countess whispered. "Of course you do," Bill said. "I will help you go to your room. Bundle can come with us." "That is very kind of Bundle," said the Countess, "but I want to be alone. I'm okay now, Bill. Please just help me walk up the stairs." She stood up and held Bill's arm. She leaned on him heavily as they walked out of the room. Bundle followed them into the hallway. The Countess told Bundle again, this time a bit rudely, that she was fine and did not need her help, so Bundle did not go upstairs with them. Bundle stood in the hall and watched them walk up the stairs. Suddenly, she saw something that made her freeze. The Countess was wearing a very thin orange robe. Through the thin cloth, Bundle saw a small black mole on the Countess's back, below her right shoulder. Bundle gasped. She turned around quickly to find Superintendent Battle. He was just walking out of the library. Jimmy and Lorraine were already in front of him. "There," said Battle. "I have locked the window and put a guard outside. I will lock the door and keep the key. Tomorrow we will look at the clues again." "Yes, Bundle, what is it?" "Superintendent Battle, I must talk to you right now," Bundle cried. "Sure, Battle started to say. Suddenly, George Lomax and Dr. Cartwright appeared. "Battle, I have good news," George said. "The doctor says Mr. O'Rourke is going to be fine." "I did not think anything was seriously wrong with him," Battle replied. "He was given a strong medicine to make him sleep," the doctor said. "He will wake up tomorrow feeling fine, though his head might hurt a little. Now, young man, let me look at your injury." "Come with me, nurse," Jimmy said to Lorraine. "Come hold my hand while the doctor fixes my arm. Watch a brave man in pain." Jimmy, Lorraine, and the doctor walked away together. Bundle kept looking at Superintendent Battle. She was very worried and wanted to talk to him, but George was busy talking to him. The superintendent waited patiently until George stopped talking for a second. "Sir," Battle said quickly, "may I speak privately with Sir Stanley in the small room at the end of the hall?" "Of course," George said. "I will go get him now." George went upstairs. Immediately, Battle took Bundle into the drawing room and shut the door so no one could hear them. "Now, Bundle, what is the problem?" he asked. "I will tell you as fast as I can," Bundle said, "but it is a long and difficult story." Bundle explained everything. She told him about the secret Seven Dials Club and the dangerous things she did there. When she finished, Superintendent Battle breathed out slowly. For the first time, he looked very surprised. "Amazing," he said. "I did not think you could do all that, Lady Eileen. But you gave me a hint. You told me to talk to Bill." "It is dangerous to give a hint to someone like you," Battle replied. "I never imagined you would put yourself in so much danger." "Well, everything is okay, Superintendent Battle," Bundle said. "I am still alive, so it is not your fault." "Not yet," Battle said seriously. He stood there thinking for a moment. "I don't understand why Mr. Thesiger let you get into such a dangerous situation." "He didn't know until it was over," Bundle explained. "I am not a fool. Besides, he is busy taking care of Miss Wade." "Is that so?" the superintendent said. His eyes sparkled a little. "Then I will have to ask Bill to look after you instead." "Bill?" Bundle said, sounding like she didn't think much of him. "But wait, Battle, I haven't finished my story. The woman I saw at the secret club, the one called Number 1, is the Countess." Bundle quickly explained how she saw the small black mole on the Countess's back. To her surprise, Battle did not seem to believe her. "A mole is not enough proof," he said. "Two different women could have the same mole. Also, the Countess is very famous in Hungary." "Then she is a fake," Bundle argued. "I am sure she is the woman from the club. And look at what happened tonight. I don't think she actually fainted." "I don't know," Battle said. "The sound of the gun might have scared her very much." "But why was she even in that room?" Bundle asked. "Nobody looks for a book in the dark with a flashlight." Battle scratched his face. He did not seem to want to talk. He walked back and forth across the room while he thought. Finally, he looked at Bundle. "Listen, Bundle, I'm going to trust you," he said. "The Countess is acting very strange. I know that. It is very suspicious. But we must be careful. She is from another country, and we do not want to cause problems between our governments. We must be 100% sure before we act." "I understand," Bundle said. "But what if you were sure?" "There is something else," Battle said. "A long time ago during the war, people were angry that we didn't catch every spy. But we did that for a reason. Sometimes we leave the small criminals alone. Why? Because if we follow them, they will eventually lead us to the big criminal, the boss at the top." "You mean?" Bundle started to ask. "Do not worry about what I mean. Just remember this. I know everything about the Countess. I want you to leave her alone. Do not bother her." Then Battle said sadly, "And now I have to go find a good excuse to tell the owner of the house."